team you can trust. This is breaking news from News 8.
Our Sunrise Smart Start beginning with breaking news. 46 people now confirmed dead as the death toll from a building fire in Taiwan continues to grow.
Officials there say a 13-story building became engulfed in flames overnight near Taipei, destroying many floors. Witnesses say they heard a large explosion around 3 o'clock in the morning. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
And more on that coming up on CBS Mornings. Locally, the family of Cody Mattice, the Hilton man accused of attacking police during the riots at the U.S. Capitol in January, is speaking out. This as another man, James Malt of Rochester, is now charged with similar crimes, along with Dominic Pizzola, who was arrested back in February. A criminal complaint against Mattice and Malt was unsealed yesterday by prosecutors, detailing the events that unfolded at the Capitol back on January 6th. Mattice's family says the charges against Cody do not represent who he is.
I can't express the surprise that this is bringing on, the stress that it's causing this family, and it hasn't been talked about in our lives since January.
He is such an amazing person. He is a huge family person. He would give the shirt off of his back for another person if they needed it more than him.
Mattice is due back in court tomorrow. Charges against him include assaulting officers and resisting them, committing acts of physical violence on the Capitol grounds, and weapons charges.
The White House telling governors to start preparing to vaccinate children as young as 5 by early next month. The administration says it's prepared to roll out millions of pediatric vaccines as soon as the FDA gives them the green light.
We are joined once again by Washington correspondent Anna Wernicke, live in D.C. this morning. Anna, good morning.
Good morning. Well, the Biden administration says they've purchased enough pediatric-sized doses of the Pfizer vaccine for every child between the ages of 5 and 11. And now they're telling states, doctors, and parents to start preparing. But first, the FDA Advisory Committee needs to give the green light. They're scheduled to meet on October 26th. And if they do give that green light, then the CDC will meet to review the request. And if all goes well, the White House says that states can expect to start receiving these doses within days.
This, of course, is something we are anticipating. What about kids under the age of 5?
Well, there are separate vaccine trials going on right now for toddlers and preschoolers, and those results are expected by the end of this year. Pfizer did say, though, that they did say confidently that we can expect to see a vaccine for kids under the age of 5 to become available in early 2022, so, within a few months.
Anna, thank you very much. An FDA panel of experts will consider Moderna's request for emergency authorization of its booster shot today. Tomorrow, they'll look at Johnson & Johnson's application. Wednesday, FDA staff released data showing J&J's booster shot does bolster antibodies.
President Biden promising to fix the supply chain backlog that has stranded cargo ships loaded with clothing, computers, and gifts that may not make it to stores in time for the holidays. The president meeting with industry leaders yesterday, talking about potential solutions to the shortages that have impacted millions. As part of the solution, the Port of Los Angeles, the nation's largest port, will now operate 24/7.
By increasing the number of late-night hours of operation and opening up for less crowded hours when the goods can move faster, today's announcement has the potential to be a game changer.
I think many consumers today will see that there are huge delays in being able to have everything from furniture to other items being delivered on their doorsteps.
The president says the government will be taking bigger steps as well. Retailers urging consumers to place their orders this month to guarantee their arrival by December.
Internationally, a man armed with a bow and arrow killed 5 people in a small Norwegian town Wednesday, according to officials there. The police chief there says there was a confrontation between officers and the assailant. 2 other people were wounded and placed in intensive care, including an officer who was off duty. The man who carried out the attack has been arrested.
All right, let's pivot to the forecast now. Christine, Folks heading out the door at this hour, greeted by a pretty nice morning, generally speaking.
Yeah, generally it is pretty quiet, but again, for those still planning to head out the door this morning, rain can be an issue. That's not what we're seeing, but we've got fog that I think could slow some of us down. We've got temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and the dew point really close to the actual air temperature, so we've got that concern for fog. Visibility down to about 3 miles for places like Penn, the Finger Lakes especially. Be on the lookout for that patchy fog. By the time we get to this afternoon, though, that should not be an issue. We've got another really nice, comfortable day on our hands. Temperatures once again in the 70s, and we've got better chances for rain, of course, to talk about with the final update that I'll have in just a few minutes.
All right, Christine, thank you. Checking the roads again with our sunrise traffic. Still monitoring that accident in Gates at this hour. It's Howard Road at Lisa Ann Drive, right near the 531 connection. 390, 490, and the Thruway in your view here are on time.
Well, a warning, you may find this video disturbing. The State Attorney General's office releasing a new version of the body camera footage in that fatal officer-involved shooting on West Main Street last week. The video shows what happened before officers entered the Family Dollar last Wednesday and after 24-year-old Simran Gordon was shot. The footage shows the officers walking into the store, asking Gordon if he has a gun. Police then pursued Gordon through the store. One officer saying Gordon shot at him first, which then prompted the officers to open fire. Gordon was pronounced dead at the scene. Per protocol, this case is now under investigation by the State Attorney General's office.
Today is the first day for the new Rochester Police Chief, David Smith. Smith served as the Deputy Chief of Operations as part of former Chief Cynthia Harriet Sullivan's command staff. He has been with RPD since 1992. The change comes after Harriet Sullivan announced her resignation last week.
Rochester police officer Denny Wright receiving the Governor's Police Officer of the Year award. It recognizes a police officer or team of officers for exceptional acts. Officer Wright was confronted by an armed assailant back in 2019 while responding to a violent family dispute. He was attacked and blinded that day. Despite his severe injuries, Officer Wright was able to prevent anyone else from being injured. He is the first Rochester police officer to receive this award.
To the latest on COVID-19, the Little Theater in Rochester will now require patrons 12 and up to provide proof of COVID vaccination. It will begin October 20th. Customers attending screenings, concerts, and events there will need proof of vaccination, a photo ID, and a mask to cover their nose and mouth. Staff members, volunteers, and performers will be vaccinated as well. The Pitkin Street entrance will close. The ticket counter at the Winthrop Street entrance will now be moved closer to the door.
Governor Hochul says she plans to appeal federal judge David Hurd's ruling that New York must allow religious exemptions within the state's COVID vaccine mandate for healthcare workers. That ruling comes after 17 healthcare professionals filed a lawsuit against the state, claiming their rights would be violated if the mandate did not allow religious exemptions. The governor says safety has to be the top priority.
Sometimes you have to do a calculation of what is important, and to the extent that someone's personal beliefs interfere with my ability and the people of the state of New York to be safe and secure, then their beliefs are important and deeply held. But we also have a public health objective, which is overriding, and that's the position we're taking in court.
Governor Hochul also says it is vital to know that a patient in the hospital is being cared for by someone who will not potentially pass the virus on to them.
All right, here's what some folks will be talking about at the water cooler this morning. The Buffalo Sabres return to action tonight. They will host the Montreal Canadiens at 7. It is the beginning of a new NHL season. The Sabres earning the #1 pick in July's draft, selecting Canadian defenseman Owen Power. Star center Jack Eichel will miss the opener because of that ongoing herniated disc.
They're hoping for a good season. Go Sabres.
Yes.
All right, check your lottery tickets. Multiple winning Take 5 tickets have been sold in Canandaigua. One winner was sold at the Wegmans on Eastern Boulevard. Another at AJ Woodhaven Pharmacy on Woodhaven Boulevard. Each ticket is worth over $21,000. The winning numbers for both tickets are 6, 7, 11, 16, and 19.
That's a nice way to start the day.
Good way to start the day, for sure.
You know what? We've been winning in the weather department all week long, Christine.
Yeah, we really have lots of winning forecast days pretty much this whole week long. I think we have yet another winner in store for today. After we get through some cooler temperatures to start and some patchy fog, by the end of the day, we will have clouds and sun, temperatures in the low 70s. It will just be another nice day overall. I've been saying that pretty much all week long. Friday is when we start to see those changes arrive, though. If you want to do some yard work done, or get some yard work done, excuse me, I definitely think today is going to be the ideal to do that. If you want to do that, Friday we will start to see chances for showers return. Saturday and Sunday, not really looking too great to be outside. You can see a sneak peek at the weekend forecast. We've got rain and rumbles in store, I think, for a lot of the day Saturday. Still some time to iron out those details, but again, we've got the rain arriving, the cooler air with it too. Temperatures in the 40s and 60s, might not even escape the 50s by the time we get to Sunday. So the fall feel, guys, not too far off. I really think today is that last day to really soak up this nice weather.
Yeah, but right now it certainly doesn't feel like mid-October, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not. It's been very mild lately. We'll still have that in store for today.
All right, we'll enjoy it. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next, the latest on supply chain issues and that massive fire in Taiwan. Have a great day.